He was the finest cartwright in the valley, and every wheel he made was slightly imperfect. Not enough to matter, not enough to cause a cart to wobble or a journey to fail. Just enough to anyone who looked closely, who set the wheel on a flat stone and sighted along its edge, that the circle was not quite true. A barely perceptible flatness on one side, a subtle variation in the spacing of the spokes. His competitors noticed and were pleased. His customers, for the most part, did not notice and were satisfied. His apprentices, who measured everything, were occasionally puzzled. One of them, a meticulous boy named Aren, who had the disposition of someone who would never be happy until the last thing was exactly right, measured a finished wheel one afternoon and brought the results to the cartwright. "It is not a true circle," Aren said. He showed the measurements. The variance was small, but it was there. The cartwright looked at the numbers, nodded. "I know," he said. Aren waited. There had to be more. "When I was young," the cartwright said, pulling on his coat against the evening cold, "I made true circles. I spent hours on each wheel, measuring, adjusting, measuring again. Perfect. Every wheel a perfect circle." He gestured for Aren to follow him outside. In the yard, a cart sat loaded with timber, wheels sunk slightly into the soft earth from the weight. "A perfect circle," the cartwright said, "meets the road at a single point, one point of contact. All the weight on that one point, every moment, every rut, every stone." He crouched beside the wheel. "My imperfect wheel, it meets the road with a small flat. Not much, just enough to distribute the weight across a broader contact. Just enough give." Aren looked at the wheel differently. "It rides better?" he asked. "It lasts longer," the cartwright said, "which is not always the same thing, but in this case it is both." He stood. "And the road treats it better too. A perfect circle punishes the road at that single point. My wheel spreads what it carries." He went inside. Aren stood in the yard for a long time, looking at the wheel in the fading light. He was thinking not about wheels. He was thinking about the version of himself that was always trying to be a perfect circle, no variation, no give, no room for the irregularities of actual roads. He was thinking about how much of his energy went into maintaining that impossible roundness, and how much of the road he had been punishing with the single hard point of his own refusal to be anything less than exact. He began work again early the next morning. His measurements that day were careful, precise, and arrived, without drama, at a wheel that was almost perfectly round. Almost. The cartwright said nothing when he examined it. But at the end of the day, he moved Aren to the senior bench without explanation and gave him the more complex commissions. Aren understood, not because the wheel was better, because the hands that made it had finally learned something that measurements alone could not teach. A little give is not a flaw. It is what allows you to keep going on real roads.